next level.
Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, Editor-in-Chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today, I have the pleasure of taking center stage on the Own It publishing platform with one of our amazing contributing writers. You have seen her probably a few times before. She has some amazing knowledge and wisdom. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in the house. Good morning, Teresa. What's going on? How are you?
Oh, good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever it is in their time of the world. So thank you for having me today. It's always a pleasure to be able to chat with you and to give our audience some good tips and some tools that they could use.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a part of the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics family. You know, when I read your, articles in our magazine monthly, it's just amazing that, the information that you give us to be able to really tap into ourselves and tap into that heart, especially to just, thrive. So just take a moment to share with everyone, just who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about what you do.
Okay. My name is Teresa Palmer. I'm a nurse practitioner or advanced practice nurse, as it's also called. And my expertise for over 30 years is holistic cardiology. And by that, I mean looking not only at the whole person, but also tapping more into connecting people to their heart. And it's what I call heart consciousness. And in the medical profession, when we talk about the heart, it's usually from an illness and a disease perspective. Things like heart failure, heart attack, heart arrhythmias, broken heart, you name it, that's what we talk about. Well, the heart's much more than that. Our heart is actually an ally, something that we could tap into. And it actually gets us into ourselves, our inner knowing. And if you could connect with your heart, then you could connect with yourself, actually with your inner knowing and really the individual that you are. And it also takes some of the fear, because I see, at least in the medical profession, when you have clients that come into a cardiology practice, they're there because they're concerned that something is wrong. They may be fearful that something's wrong. So I kind of flip that whole thing into what can your heart do for you, and how could you become a partner in your healthcare, be able to make decisions, have that personal power, because that resides in our heart. That's who we are. And then take that power out into your daily life to really be the person that you were meant to be, and to have self-confidence and self-love.
Wow. Wow. So you got to definitely tap into that heart. Now, Teresa, I know we've had some conversations before on, on the heart, and talking about, you said the rhythm, right, of the heart. So let's talk a little bit about that before we get into our subject for today, because it's so interesting what you've shared about our rhythm of our own individual heart. So please.
Yeah, it's actually the heartbeat. So when you have a rhythm, there's different rhythms, and most people are in a regular rhythm or a sinus rhythm. Some people are in atrial fibrillation, which is a little different rhythm, and that's fine. That's what most of the population would fit into, those two rhythms. But when you look at your heartbeat, now that's a different thing. Your heart contracts and then it relaxes. So it takes blood into the heart, then it sends blood out through every organ, every cell, every fiber, every being in your body. So your heart gives and maintains life. Without a beating heart, there is no life. And that heartbeat, that actual lub dub or the contraction, relaxation, is unique to each individual. In fact, there is technology that the government has. And I was reading about this where they're going to, at some point, start using an individual's heartbeat as their identity. Right now, we use either fingerprints or retinal image, and you could change either. I don't know how they change the retinal image. I don't know what they do, but the fingerprints, you could burn off your fingerprints.
Right.
So that's your identity. But now you can't change the way your heart beats because that's something that you have no control over. Okay, you could do deep breathing, you could slow down, or you could speed up the heart rate, but you can't change that contraction, that relaxation, because that is unique to you. And that's actually your identity. So when you look at, they have machines out there now. I don't remember the name of the company, but you put your fingers on it and you could go through your Apple Watch, your Apple phone, and it'll tell you your heartbeat. It'll tell you it'll tell you your heart rhythm. And then from there, they could look at the individual, how the heart is actually beating. So your heart really is your identity. And I don't think we always realize that. And, the heart is your inner knowing. So if you tap in and get familiar with how your heart is beating, you're actually becoming familiar with who you are. And the heartbeat is also the rhythm of your life. So, say you're upset about something or you're very excited and your heart is beating faster, your actual life is going faster at that point. You're doing things faster. Maybe you're going places faster, talking faster. When your heart rate slows down, that beat, love dub, you're actually a little bit more calm, a little bit more quiet. So your heart is actually connecting you into the inner peace and quiet, your inner landscape, which is so important for our health and well being. We always think of things like diet, exercise, yoga, meditation. Those are all great, but those are outside things. They're outside of us. But what could we do internally? And we could work with that heartbeat, which is our unique identity, our self. And we could use that to have inner calm, to we're all born with intuition or inner knowing, and it has nothing to do with reading minds. There's no such thing as reading somebody's mind. The intuition is that inner knowing. You know how a lot of times people will say it just didn't feel right. I
Yeah.
knew something was off, but I didn't know what it was. I felt it in my heart, or I felt it in my stomach, my gut. That's your inner knowing. And a lot of times we ignore that because we're told to focus on our head. And there's nothing wrong with our head, but to make the best decisions and to really live your best life, and also for your health, you need your heart and your brain on the same page because you don't want those stress hormones pumping out. And the heart sends a message to the brain to calm everything down. So I think it's fascinating. I've always felt that our heart was always our source of self. And I'd like to say a bit about the soul because the soul kind of gets a rap of being religious or being a spiritual type of thing. And that's not true. Your heart, your soul, when you look at the Greek, it comes from the Latin. And what it means is psyche. And psyche is your inner knowing. So when you think of your soul, it's your inner knowing. Where's your inner knowing? In your heart. I don't know the story behind how religion and spirituality kind of took it to be their own, but I think people shy away when you say the soul because they kind of think of the soul as a certain religion or a certain spiritual practice, and it's not. It's really that inner knowing that resides within your heart. It's really you. So I hope that that clears a lot of things up for people.
Wow, that is so interesting. Thank you so much, Teresa. So, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break and then we're going to come back and we're going to get some tools from Teresa on how to, kind of navigate through this time of the year because there's some things going on. So, we'll be right back, everybody. All right, and we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Big ups to Upscale Online Biz Solutions. Charles over there at Upscale can definitely give you some great assistance when it comes to video editing. If you need some production in-house, he can do all sorts of things. So definitely check into them. We're back with Teresa Palmer. We are talking about tapping into the heart. We're talking about that heartbeat and it being our actual identification, right? That is just absolutely amazing. As she said, you can do some things with those fingerprints, right? You can burn off the fingerprints. Don't know how you can do the things with the eyes, right? But hey, I guess there's contacts, all that kind of stuff, things around things. But the only thing that is different is our heartbeat. So that is so awesome. So Teresa, I know right now, we're moving into the holidays and, we just lost some sun, right? Because we've now fallen back with this time change and people they're going through some things. And, we have had some great conversations with a few individuals on the platform about SAD, seasonal affecting disorder. And I'd like for you to please, just tell the audience a little bit about what they can do to be able to kind of combat this right now and maybe be able to raise their spirits, help their heart to be happy and, and just, yeah.
Yeah, there's this very simple 3-step process. And what this will do is bring calm and peace. Because I'll start with how we get anxious. Okay. The heart actually has a brain. And this goes back almost about 20 some years where research was done. The heart actually has more neuroreceptors than our brain in our head does. But we're kind of taught to take our emotions and our feelings into our brain. And our brain is kind of a pre programmed response, it's like a computer. So when the emotions are good, when we're feeling happy and everything's going our way, the brain sends a signal, releases the feel good hormones, and we're happy, the endorphins. Now, what happens when something's not so great? Supposing you lose your job, somebody gets sick, something goes on in your life that's not too happy. Socially, we're kind of conditioned not to feel things. We don't want to really feel them. We're kind of socially conditioned to say we need to be happy. Okay, so what the brain does is now you've got these emotions. Well, I'm not feeling that great. The brain will send out a pre-programmed response. Okay, you try to say you're not feeling that. Okay, you kind of convince yourself and you say, "Oh, I lost my job. I'll get another job. I'm not worried about it." Somebody asks you how you're doing. "Oh, I'm happy. Everything is wonderful." Because that's kind of how we're programmed. But what the brain is doing is the brain goes into survival mode because the brain actually believes that we're in danger. And it's a primitive response from the caveman days when our lives were in danger. But that's not the truth anymore. We're rarely in physical danger at the moment. But our brain thinks we are. The brain says we've got to go in survival mode, fight, flight, or freeze. And that's where the stress hormones start pumping. And that's where the body gets out of balance. A body out of balance is prone to illness and disease because your body knows how to work. It was born working properly unless there was something genetic or structurally that happened at birth or before birth. We were born healthy. We come along and we do things that aren't in our best interest and we make ourselves unhealthy. So now you've got these stress hormones, you're on the road to getting an illness and disease. But if you first take those emotions in your heart, I lost my job. First question, am I in physical danger?
Mm-hmm.
No. Take a deep breath. That's the first step. Okay. I call it breathe, be still, and connect. Take a deep breath. The deep breath automatically sends a message to the brain. There's no stress hormones that are needed. Everything is good. Now you've got some inner peace and calm as you're taking these deep breaths. Try to figure out the emotion. I'm sad, disappointed, I'm angry. It's okay to feel those things. There's nothing wrong with that. You could also sit with the emotion and you could say, okay, I can't process this right now. I don't know exactly what I'm feeling. I'm not thrilled about this. But when you go through your heart now gives you the time to process emotion. So you
Mm-hmm.
can sit with those emotions. Okay. Meanwhile, you've got the peace and calm going on. You're not sending out any stress hormones. So your body is still in balance. Okay. All your organs, your cells, your nervous system. It's this big complex thing. Everything is working properly. And the next thing is be still. And by that, I mean take time every day, even if it's 5 minutes, to be with yourself without distraction. No telephone, no earphones, no nothing, no music. Just be still. You could either sit or lie quietly. If thoughts come in your head, okay, we're human beings. We have to think, but don't dwell on them. That's where we get ourselves in trouble. We dwell on what's in our head. So thank you for coming. Boom. I'm back into just concentrating on breathing and concentrating on being still. As you do this over a period of time, you'll start, and by time I mean a few weeks, I don't mean years. You start to see that you have a voice in your heart, and this is your inner knowing. And now you're starting to listen to that voice. You're starting to align it with your brain. And now the heart and brain become on the same page, which is called coherence and resonance. And heart math has done a lot of work with that. So anybody that's really more interested in that could look up heart math. They have tons of free resources. So now everyday stillness, if you say, okay, I can't sit still, well, take a walk, just or do exercise, do whatever you want, but just be present in the moment. If you're walking, look at what's around you, what's in front of you, what's to the sides. Oh, maybe there's a butterfly flying over here. Look how beautiful the butterfly is. Keep your mind present. If you're exercising, lifting weights, doing Pilates, whatever, what muscle are you working? Don't look at what other people are doing. Don't try to compete with them, but say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what muscle am I working? I could feel that muscle, say it's your bicep. I could feel that getting stronger. Put your full attention on what you're doing. And the last part is connect. And by that, I mean physically connect to your heart every day. Simply place your heart over your chest, over your left side of your chest. Breathe. Feel that movement of your heart, the lub dub. Get into the rhythm of that heart. Is it fast? Is it slow? And then check your feelings. If it's fast, it may be that you're a little anxious. Maybe you're a little concerned about something that's going on. If you first wake up in the morning and you do it, the heart rate may be slow, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own individual, but get to know your heartbeat, because your heartbeat is really the beat of your life. And as we said before, it's your identification. So you want to start identifying with yourself. And we don't do that enough because we always listen, look at what outside is telling us. What do we need? We need this, that, and the other thing from the outside. Experts are telling us, do this, do that. Okay, we listen to a certain amount of things, but we also have to remember ourselves. What is this heart telling me? Is my heart telling me it's a little fast? Do I need to slow down? Am I concerned about something? Okay, what is it? Well, yeah, I have 3 dozen things to do today. Deep breath, be still, connect to your heart, and you're able then to process things and also kind of process your day. Maybe I don't have to do 20 things at once. Maybe this could be put to the side. Now you become in charge, and that's important. You become in charge not only of your decisions that you're making, but your health, well-being, your life. Because when you're in charge and you're listening, your heart and your brain on the same page, your body's in balance. It's now less prone to illness and disease because the body is simply energy on the crudest level. Our heart is the largest energy field. It extends at least 3 feet around us. And that's why we pick up other people's feelings. So when you start listening to your heart, is this my feeling? Am I picking up something from somebody else? And with all the chaos that's in the world right now, it's important to tune in and listen, to breathe, be still, and connect so that you become the eye of the storm. You're not swirling around in all that chaos and everything that's mixed up. And I mean, I don't have to tell people what's going on in the world. It's every part of the world. It's not just one place. And it's all energy. So now you could take that energy and you could use it for something constructive because you're breathing, you're connecting, you're breathing, you're being still, you're connecting. So maybe there's something you always wanted to do, write a book, change your job. That's the time to start planning, taking charge. Okay. Even though everything's crazy around you, you're taking charge, you're keeping your body in balance, you're less prone now to illness and disease. You have that personal power. Now, when you go with your health and well being, when you go to a provider, now you could actually partner with your provider because now you're listening to yourself and you've got the knowledge, you've got the tools, and you could ask questions or you could ask, do I really want to do this? And talk to your healthcare provider. Is there something else maybe we could do? I'm not too sure about this. Of course, if it means life or death, that's not the time to question things.
Right.
But say your provider wants to put you on a medication. You could have a conversation. Is this something I need to do right now? Maybe we could try something else in the meantime. These are the things I'm doing for myself, and talk to your healthcare provider. I think if we would breathe, be still, and connect, we would find that we don't need as many antidepressants. Okay. If you can't get out of bed, if you can't take care of your children, your spouse, your pets, if you're that depressed, then by all means, you need something to jumpstart you to be able to do things. But if you're just the garden variety, upset, depressed, I had a young man tell me his ex-girlfriend, was in one of his college classes, and every time he sees her, he gets sad. He came in asking me for an antidepressant so that he wouldn't have to feel sad. Well, you have to feel sad. You have to be able to get through it. And one of my mentors, who's now passed or transitioned, Rick Jarrow, always said, sometimes you have to sit in the oven until you're fully baked.
That's right.
So you have to deal with what's going on. If you lose your job, yes, you're sad, and you have the right to be sad,
Right.
and you can feel that. and you could go through it and come out the other end. And I just think that that's so important. And the holidays, some people are feeling blue, some people are feeling stressed. Breathe, be still, and connect. And you will find that you're much calmer, you're making better decisions. Heart and brain are working together, working together within the body, not putting out the stress hormones, not, oh my goodness, how am I going to get all this done? But now you're able to go in an orderly manner and go through your day. So maybe if you have 30 things to do, now you're able to develop a plan. You could prioritize. You could say, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and that. Maybe this could wait. You're doing yourself a world of good emotionally, physically, and spiritually by just doing those three things. And they could take little, if you only have a minute a day, do it for the minute. But every day, this is self-care, taking care of yourself. Put your own oxygen mask on first, like the airline. And why did they tell you? Because if you don't put your own oxygen mask on, you're going to die and you're not going to be able to help others. And it's pretty, I think it's a pretty forceful statement. But even in your daily life, you can't drink from an empty well. You have to replenish yourself first before you could replenish and help anybody else. So I hope those tools help people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Remember, everyone, breathe, be still, and connect. I know, Teresa, these three things have been a tremendous help to me in my own personal life. So I want to just thank you for that because, again, that just finding that inner peace and that calm is a superpower. Remember that, everyone. Calm is a superpower. So tap into that calm.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. For more information, if you want to go further with the tools, expand on everything, I do have a book that's published. It was published by Balboa Press in 2022. It's called Heal Your Heart from Within. It's available Balboa Press, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. And it's a guide to self-care because I take you step by step how our emotions affect us, what stress does to the body, all those things. And I actually wrote it for my patients. I started it in 2020, that year of uncertainty and chaos, because I knew my patients really needed some guidelines and they really needed to learn how to help themselves because healthcare professionals didn't have all the answers. And I think, with people tuning in more to themselves and, realizing that they have that power to help themselves, it's making a huge difference, a huge, huge difference in lives, in healthcare, because people are becoming now partners in their healthcare. They're having a say in what goes on. And that's how it should be.
It's so important. So important. Wow, Teresa, I tell you, when we get on here, the time goes by so fast. It's just,
and I like to talk. So
no, and I love to listen to you. So, and I know everyone out there that is, that's catching this is going to just absolutely just be so intrigued with all of this. Just really finding that heart, that connection to the heart, and that you talked about, the connection with the brain and the heart, that brain heart coherence, which is amazing. Everyone, please tap into, Teresa, and, really, if you want to connect with her or and work with her, you can actually go to her website here. That is www.wellbeinggal.com. And you can definitely connect there and also watch for her articles in the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine monthly. She is one of our contributing writers, and she's also in the Own It magazine as well. So you can catch her over there too. If you have not subscribed to both magazines, definitely get on our mailing list so you you can get those in your inbox every month. So Teresa, I'm so glad you took the time to come and share your brilliance with us. Thank you so much for being a part of the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics family. We love you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, tap in, because we are here to help you elevate your mind, body, and spirit and get you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.